Hey everyone, welcome to Yoga Moments. I'm Janice, and this is not our typical yoga video. In addition to being a yoga instructor, I'm also a respiratory therapist, if you haven't heard me say that before. So I work at a hospital, and there's just so many patients in bed who are recovering, and I really wanted to make a yoga video for something that they can do in bed to help facilitate recovery and getting better. So if that's you, if you're in bed at a hospital and you're sick, I'm so sorry to hear that. But this is a video to help you feel better and just provide kind of an environment for which you can have a speedy recovery. So if you're not sure that this video is for you, it's very gentle. We're going to be mindful of any IVs, any lines, any drains or tubes. If you have a catheter or a chest tube or just like a drain or a peg tube, we'll be careful. If you're not certain, you can ask your nurse to quickly scan the video and give you an okay, or you can just ask them, is there anything that I need to be mindful of? And if there is, then maybe you set this aside and come back to it at a later time, or, as we go through, I'll also be sure to, say be mindful of this or don't worry about that. So no matter where you're at, we've got something for you to help you feel better and get back to your family and back to your home sooner. So I have a lounge chair because I couldn't get a hospital bed. So I'm going to mimic being in bed, not with you, that sounds weird, but I'm going to mimic being in a hospital bed to do this alongside you. And the first thing you'll notice is that hospital beds are not made for good positioning. So we're going to do our best. We're going to put the head of the bed up so that we can sit, as upright as we can. Often patients I find are rounding through the spine. They're sliding down in bed. This happens a lot. I kept this cushion here intentionally because it slides. So I'm right there with you, and, together we can get better. So we're going to put the head of the bed up. You might put a pillow under your legs, or you might bring the foot of the bed up a little if that helps keep you in place. But what we're going to do is we're going to find a little more integrity in ourselves to kind of give us a little bit of stability. And we're going to push our sit bones down into the bed. So we're pushing down and being really heavy in our hips here. So don't hold any tension. You can just be really heavy. We'll lift up from the pelvic floor. So kind of like you were going to stop peeing midstream. If you have a catheter and that's not comfortable, don't worry, skip it, and you'll jump in with us in a moment. If that's not you and you can lift up, see if you can lift up a little bit from your pelvic floor. Then everyone can draw their navel in and up. So bring your hands to your tummy. Draw your navel in, lift it up, and you'll notice that your heart starts to lift as well. So we'll lift our heart up alongside that, draw our shoulder blades together, and let them be heavy on our back. So you can even do this leaning back here, but really what we're doing is we're giving ourselves support through our core, which is going to help us with our cough. It's going to help us with our breathing, and breathing is so good because it gives us the oxygen for our body to heal and get better. So we're going to help our breathing. We're going to get nice and long through the spine. And we're just going to take a couple of breaths, notice how we feel. And by that, I mean lengthen your inhale as long as it's comfortable for you. So if you're in with something respiratory, or you're having chest pain, or your belly's pushing up on your diaphragm and it's hard to take a deep breath, what I mean by that is take a breath that is a little bit longer but still comfortable for you. So we're trying to find that balance always between effort and ease, mostly going for ease, but still showing up enough to put in some effort. So you might bring your hands to your belly just to notice, see if you can deepen your breath all the way to your tummy. If you can't, no worries. If that's painful for you, we're just going to soften, relax. So you'll hear me say many, many times to just soften, and the reason for that is that relaxed bodies are the bodies that heal. If you're holding tension, it's hard for your body to recover. So finding that softness in ourselves, inside of ourselves. And then we'll bring our awareness to our right leg. So Soften your right leg. You might, let the knee be soft, let the foot be soft, and then you can rock it back and forth if that's comfortable for you. If you have a cast on, obviously don't do this on that foot, but maybe you just picture, use your imagination here to see, your leg rotating back and forth. You might point and flex the toes. So just waking up the body a little bit. Obviously, if you have incisions or stitches, or you're just post-op from like an ankle replacement, don't do this yet. You need to be medically cleared for that. But if you're just laying in bed with, pneumonia, let's get a little activity going. The increased blood flow will help your recovery. And then when you're done pointing and flexing your toe, soften through the right leg again. We'll soften through the right arm. So draw your right shoulder away from your ear. Lift your heart. Remember to draw your navel in. And if it's available, lift up from the pelvic floor. So we're staying nice and tall. Should be able to take a little bit bigger breath than normal. Or, well, normal for where you're at right now. And then we'll inhale, lift our right arm up just to our shoulder height. So if you have an IV, one of those lines with fluid running in it, in your arm, don't do anything else. Just lift it up and then relax it. If your arm is free of extra lines, then we'll inhale, lift our arm up, and we'll just stretch our fingers. You might just kind of play, make a fist, extend it, lower down. One more time, we'll inhale. Again, if you don't have an IV, feel free to play. You might flex your wrist and extend it. If you do have an IV, just relax. Don't lose it. Don't do any of those extra motions because that'll wiggle it out, and then your nurse will be mad at me. And then we'll soften on the right side. So soften your right arm, soften your right leg, and bring your awareness to your left leg. So we'll maybe point and flex the foot, wiggle it back and forth. And again, stay active in the navel here, drawing it in and up so that that motion kind of comes from a stable core. If you're like, what am I doing? Well, chances are if you're in a hospital bed, you don't have a whole lot else going on. Hopefully you have family visiting, but this is a short flow. You can do it and then keep visiting. Maybe you get your family to do it with you so that they feel good too. When you're done pointing and flexing and wiggling your left leg, relax, soften it, and see if you can just let your legs be heavy. And then we'll bring our awareness to our left arm. So again, keeping it nice and heavy, keeping our heart lifted at the same time, drawing our navel in and up to give us that support. And then we'll inhale, lift our left arm. Exhale, release all the way down. Inhale, lift it up, and again, wiggle the fingers so long as there's no IVs in your hand or in your forearm, because we don't want to lose that for the nurses, because that's a pain if they have to replace it. So it's not a pain, it's just inconvenient, really. And some of you know when you're difficult, you say, we're difficult pokes. It's like, oh, goody. So exhale, lower down, inhale, one more time. Lift up. Feel all of that coming up. Exhale, release, and oh, the sun's coming out, which is so nice. All right, so we're going to lift our heart here, let our shoulders come away from our ears, draw in with the navel. So this whole drawing in with the navel and lifting our heart, what it's doing is it's giving us a stronger core. So it's giving us support from here so that our shoulders don't have to lift us up all the time. So draw in your navel, lift up from the pelvic floor. Lift your heart, and then on an inhale, draw your knees up towards the sky if that's available to you. If it's not, don't worry, you can keep your legs out and you'll just keep pointing your toes up towards the sky. Otherwise, you'll draw your knees up, and I'm going to bring my hands to my knees here and just let my legs fall out. And find a little play. Maybe you walk your feet out, let them kind of roll in. Again, only if it feels good to you, only if you don't have any lines attached to what you're moving. It should feel good. So what you're really going for in this recovery is what feels good. So we'll extend our legs, reposition if we have to. And again, find the softness. So close your eyes for a second. Just let your shoulders be soft. Keep your navel a little bit engaged, but see if you can find that softness. Again, if you have a lot of pressure in your abdomen, that's not going to be comfortable, and just find softness around there. And whatever's going on, wherever you're feeling pain or discomfort, I want you to see if you can push your awareness beyond whatever's causing that discomfort. So, if you have an incision in your right side, then feel it, but see what you can feel beyond the pain and beyond the discomfort, and see where you start to feel that relief and that wellness again. And while you do this, again, I encourage you, deepen your breath as much as you can. So it's easy to say, I have pain and this hurts, but see if you can push beyond that. See if you can explore what else is there, because that's where you're going to find that well-being. That's where you're going to find that recovery. And maybe you even think to yourself, I am well. All right, keep exploring. You might find a little organic movement. My toes have started wiggling just because they like to. And we're going to inhale, draw our shoulder blades behind us. So imagine holding a pencil between your shoulder blades. Squeeze together. And then we'll exhale, take our arms, give ourselves a hug. Be mindful. If you have lines and tubes, then just be careful you're not catching them in your gown or your blanket. And then we'll inhale, bring our shoulder blades together. You might tag a little weight in the elbows, lift that heart up, draw that navel in. And then we'll exhale, pull our heart back between our shoulder blades, opposite arm on top this time for the hug. You might tuck your chin towards your chest. Keep your heart lifted though, so that'll give you a nice stretch in the back of the neck. We'll inhale, oh, there goes the sun. Let our shoulders and our elbows be heavy. They can be down in the bed beside you. And we'll just draw circles with our nose. So again, if you have any lines kind of up, around your collarbone, just be careful. If it's, maybe don't do this one, but if you don't have any IVs or lines, chances are if you do, you're not in a general hospital bed. You're probably more in an intensive care unit. We'll inhale, come all the way around, although you might have a trach, so just be careful. Listen to your body. We'll just draw circles with our nose here. So finding our breath as we do. Again, coming back to our breath every time. All right, so we'll come back to center. I'm going to take my left hand to the outside of my right thigh, and I'm just going to twist. Not a lot, just enough to lean my left shoulder over towards the right side of my body. And then we'll exhale, come back to center, take the right hand to the outside of the left thigh, and just reach our right shoulder kind of towards the left side of our body. So again, creating this nice long lift as best you can. Press your sit bones down to come up. Draw your navel in, find that support. All right, we'll exhale, come back to center. And just notice how you feel. Hopefully you feel like a little bit of the tension's worked out, providing that space so that you can feel better. We'll close our eyes one more time. Find that support. If you're not comfortable closing your eyes, don't worry. You can do this with your eyes open. I'm going to bring my hands to my belly and drawing my navel in just a little bit to give myself support. Lifting up with my heart, letting my sit bones be heavy. So you're finding that nice long spine. I'm going to inhale, and then I'm going to exhale, draw my navel towards my spine, only as far as is comfortable for you. And we'll do that 2 more times. Inhale, exhale, draw your navel to your spine. Inhale, exhale, draw your navel to the spine. So no clenching, just softly pulling in, finding our exhale. And that's it. Hopefully you feel like your body's a little more awake, a little softer, less tension, and hopefully you're well on your way to healing. So from my heart to yours, I wish you a very speedy recovery, and I bid you namaste.